Olive oil is high in linoleic acid, which is beautiful for your skin. And this olive oil, Morgan actually sourced. Usually I'm the one doing the sourcing, but the olive oil you sourced and walked countless orchards. And I would like you to share a little bit about the permaculture and the nutrients and the uptake and what makes Living the Good Life Naturally's olive oil so over the top, which, by the way, we also sell the olive oil that goes in this as a straight oil because it's a beautiful oil to finish salads and we cook in it, and it's a beautiful oil for your family on the inside. The most important thing about your health, it's not the sugar that you eat, it's the oils in your body. It's the oils that you're oiling your body with that make or break that link toward health. Replacing those oils with healthy oils is what connects you back to health. So would you share he's a permaculturist, share what permaculture is, honey? So that, because some people may have not heard of that, and then share the orchards and the different orchards that you walked in and what you were looking for while I grab Louis.
We're just getting comment that they can't hear the
dogs. You can't hear the dogs? So, okay. He's fine chewing on what he's got. So I'll stay right here. Thanks, Elaine. Really appreciate that.
So, the olive oil.
Sylvia's saying hello.
Hello, Sylvia. How are you?
She hasn't seen you in a while.
Oh, I know, it's been on. Kristen keeps me hidden in the back room. So she does feed me, though. I just want you to know. So I'm okay. You don't have to send anything or care packages. I'm fine. Anyway. What was it? Blink 3 times. Okay. Anyway, just kidding. But anyway, you're never having me back on, are you?
Oh, I will.
Okay.
It's much funner to have you on.
Okay, so
just unpredictable.
So the permaculture olive oil, and if you know the olive industry at all, and there's a lot of talk about this, especially because of stuff coming from Spain and coming from Italy
and California.
And California too. They're blending it with other oils. And they're cutting it, and it's kind of like it's not pure olive oil. And probably one of the reasons why other people trying to replicate this is, one, they're not getting our Cocoa Absolute, and they're not getting our olive oil. And so it just doesn't work. And I think also they don't understand the process of how to get the magnesium to stay infused.
And the preservative makes a difference too.
So
because some preservatives actually stop the uptake of magnesium and the Cocoa Absolute and the benefits.
I mean, Kristen worked on this for years and years to figure this out.
Outside of my family, it's
so she's figured this out. But anyway, on the olive oil, so we were searching for a pure source of olive oil. We didn't want it cut. We wanted real olive oil. Now, it can get expensive, and we also want it to be in a system that they weren't using chemicals. And now there's a permaculture system, which I'd say is beyond organic, because basically what they do is they incorporate a couple of different things. One, they do not do high density planting in an olive orchard.
Okay, stop right there. I'm going to have you slow it down. Okay. What is the problem with high density planting?
Okay, high density planting means you're going to plant, like you see rows of corn, and they're all in those rows, and it's just a cornfield. Everything's right next to each other. In high density planting in an orchard system, the roots of that tree are now competing for nutrients with the roots of the tree that's right next to it. And most commercial olive oil these days is high density, so they can get a quicker yield out of the orchard faster, but the nutrient
increases profit margin.
Yeah, of course, increases profit margin for the oil producer. And at the same time, they can also use mechanical means to get the trees harvested. And so they can go through and just kind of shake these rows.
So it's very efficient.
Yeah, it's very efficient that way. But you are losing some nutritional aspects. Also, you have to, what I call, push the trees with more synthetic nutrition, because you've got them so tight together, they just can't
get
what
sick.
They need. Yeah,
and then not produce. Yeah. And so you've got to really pump up.
So that's one issue. So the trees, so you need to look for an orchard that's not high density. Okay. Also, I like the older varieties, and the variety of olive oil we have here is an old mission variety that came from Spain back in the 1700s, actually, to California. And so those trees are incredibly old. They're basically grafted from tree to tree. So it's like, if you didn't know this already, a golden delicious apple, there was one tree and they basically cloned that tree a whole bunch of times, and that's where you get golden delicious or Honeycrisp or whatever. It's one tree, and then that's how they get that apple that tastes like that. In the Mission variety, it's been passed down for centuries, and there's just, it's just got a nice mild yet slightly spicy flavor to it. So the taste is good. Like I said, don't eat this, but if you're going to use it culinarily. But what we love about it, it's not cut with anything. And the reason I know this is because I know the grower. I've walked his orchard. These are 100-year-old trees that were taken from older trees, right? But 100-year-old trees that have been around in California.
It's the most beautiful orchard.
The climate is basically
hills.
a Tuscany climate,
Mhm.
like you'd have in Italy. It's a Tuscany climate, which is great for growing olives. It's like the weather there is very hot in the day and it cools at night, and that gives kind of an interesting rest to the tree at night and doesn't stress the tree, and the tree regenerates and pushes more nutrient up. There's a lot of great benefits. The other thing of being not high density, but the trees spread out, the other thing they do in this orchard is they let the natural flowers and grasses and those things grow.
Okay, I
They
want to
don't
stop
use
you again.
herbicides on the ground.
I want to stop you again.
Yeah.
We have always, when we plant vegetables in the garden, you've taught us, and you've always done it, that you plant flowers around it. And when we had the shop in downtown Logan, and we actually lived above it, it was a work-live home that we purchased, a beautiful old Victorian. And people would give us so much flack, like, why have you got cucumbers and flowers right next to each other?
Yeah.
So explain what happens.
Well, there's a
when they're-
monoculture, like a field of corn. That's one crop, monoculture. A polyculture is multiple things growing. So if you were to go to a natural alpine meadow, you might see hundreds of different types of wildflowers and grasses and plants growing. That's a polyculture. And the polyculture, every plant kind of pulls up different elements from the soil. That plant grows, that plant dies. It drops those nutrients back on the soil, reincorporates them. And so in a polyculture, you're getting so much more
variety
of nutrient, variety of it's just better for the plant. It's better for the tree. It's better in general for, human health. And so we love that olive orchard for that reason. The third thing they do in this system, this polyculture system, low density planting, is instead of herbicide, you've seen herbicides, right? You spray the stuff and it's killing everybody and giving everybody disease and all this stuff. So, but with their orchard, what they have is a small herd of sheep, and the sheep mow the grass and keep the plants down, so keep it so it's more manageable. So they use sheep, and the sheep are then, of course, recycling that grass through their bodies and creating another source of fertilizer, which is through their manure. And so it's all an integrated system, a permaculture system.